Hello everyone, welcome back to Gemseed course. Then this lesson will bring you the effect of a Flame Man. Last year, in April 2023, I also made such a Flame Man effect, but the comparative basis belongs to the person who is a flame of this sense of plane. So what we bring to you in this lesson is a 2.0 effect of the new version of Flame Man. The previous effect may be relatively flat and abstract, so this lesson will bring you a more realistic Flame Man effect with a little AR effect. As soon as we saw the fire, it ran after my head and it ran after my hands, right? And in addition to this, it also has an interaction. For example, I can control the generation and disappearance of my flame when I punch. And when I go to do a high five interaction, can switch such a random color. So this is what we're going to learn in this lesson, so let's open a new TD file and start doing today's work. Let's open a brand new TD file first. So the effect is actually very simple. What we use is an NV flow emitter. In fact, we have already talked about this document in our TD Gemseed course. So this effect has actually been used in the 20-second control of the Magic Flame Ball. In our Gemseed course, what we actually use here is a similar technology. And then in addition to this, after we use it in our later course, we talked about the media pipe. Through these two, we can make a linkage, the flame effect of the face and hand tracking we just saw. Let's start by creating an NV flow emitter, not like this, which is inside our Graycom panel. Then we create a camera. So we need to render the fire and smoke effects here. We need to create an NV flow in top to generate our flame. In fact, we can see that it has generated such a white flame and smoke effect according to the default settings, right? Okay, we create a null after NV flow, and then we show it behind our back. Okay, at this time, if we change the type to shape S, it will disappear in our place, right? Because at this time, we are going to replace it with a new SOP component. And then replace the default small ball. Let's try to use a box here first, and we'll connect it. And drag it to shape SOP. Okay, at this point, we see that the little ball here has been replaced by our current box, right? According to this, we know that if we want to generate our face and our hands, we just have to replace this model with our heads. Okay, so next we're going to give our flame a color, and we're going to use ramp here. We can use ramp to color it, and then we can adjust the color we like in ramp. Any color is okay. We want this to be a random color. I'll just change the color like this. Okay, and then we create a null. Then we throw the null on the NV flow emitter. And then we choose color ramp up in this. Okay, now our color will be mapped to the smoke, right? So here we create an HSV adjust in the middle of them. Just right-click to create an HSV adjust. If we adjust the hue offset here, we can see that it will replace our entire color. Right? We will randomly control the value of the color of this place later. We can achieve the effect that we just changed the color, right? Then we come to the components of our NV flow emitter. And we see that there are a lot of parameters, right? You can adjust the parameters here by yourself. And then try to see the different effects of its different parameters. In fact, every parameter here, such as smoke, we can see that if we increase it, it will add a lot of smoke around us, right? When we adjust the following parameters, similarly, it will also adjust the effect of our smoke. Then you can adjust this place according to your own preferences. Okay, then let's go on. For example, let's play with fuel. Let's set the fuel to 0. We also see that its burning effect will become very small, and the burning will not be so intense, right? If we make it very big, our fire will be very strong. It doesn't need to be so big. We can adjust it to 1 here. Okay, so we will control these parameters in this part. Then we can control over the appearance of our flame. For example, I set the smoke here to 0 and set this parameter to 0, and the flame appears immediately, right? If you turn it on, it will reappear. Then we will control the data mapping later. Okay, at this time, let's go and get our plugin. We have used this plugin in many courses before. If you need this plugin, you can get it directly from our communication group. Okay, and then we're going to bring in a face tracking comp, and it's going to recognize my face. Then there is a hand tracking at the same time. And we also need to identify our hands. Then we go to the media pipe and we turn on the first 3. And detect hands, the first 3. We wait for it for a while, can recognize our faces, right? Including our hands. Okay, then we remember what we just said. What do we need here? We need a SOP here, right? We need to change this box to a model of our face and our hands. So here we are, directly here we see the blue output, right? We right-click to create a null. And you can see that this is a mapping of our face position. The state of your facial features can be displayed here. Okay, in the same way, we can take our hands out like this. Okay, let's adjust our face first. Let's move it back and throw it on NV flow emitter. Shows a shape up. All gone, right? There's just a little flame here. Right? This must be something wrong. Because of our model, let's take a look at its position. This position, first of all, it is very small, right? We see that there is a coordinate here. Its entire scale is very small, and it is in the upper right of our entire coordinate axis. We actually want it to be at the center of our whole world, so that it will fit better. Then what we also hope is that it has an AR effect, right? It can overlap with a video of our face. So we have to take out one of our videos at this time. So we can use the interface at the bottom of media pipe. We create a null so that we can use our video. Then we create a select here. Drag the video to the select. Then we create a composite and change the operation to over. Then we connect the select, and we can appear under the flames. We made a superposition of it. Then we come here to adjust the position of the model. First of all, we have to put it back to the origin of the world position, right? We can see that the origin of the world position is at the junction of the XYZ3 axis, right? So we change translate x-axis to -0.5, and then the y-axis. minus 0.4 on the y-axis. Then there is another problem. Now we see a little bit smoke in the middle, right? First of all, it is in the center of the picture. Another problem is that it's too small, so we create a transform after it. Create another transform, we change its SCLI to 5. Now the smoke gonna be a lot bigger, right? Here we go. It basically follows our face to move, right? Why are we creating two transform here? Because we see if I don't create a transform, we just add its SCLI here. If we look at it, it will still deviate from the origin of our world position, right? Because we've changed its location here, right? It is a change of position on this basis. So we still need to create another transform on this basis. In this way, we can see that when I change it, it doesn't have a position offset. We see that it's still a little bit on the way up. Let's adjust it again and go down a little bit. Okay, so it basically coincides with our face, right? Okay, then let's fine-tune our parameters. Because we see that the face is a little too light now, right? We can adjust, for example, fuel release, the degree of release of our fuel to 3. We can see that now it will be much more smoke than just now. In fact, this state is very good now, and it can reveal a little bit of my facial. I think it's good. Then you can adjust some other parameters according to your own needs. You can add a little more fuel. Okay, for now. Let's do this for now. Okay, and then our faces have been done, right? Then we're gonna handle our hands, right? We see here have two output. Let's create two null and then connect them. In this case, they correspond to our two hands. The same scale is actually copied directly, and these two are sent over. And then we first turn these two into one dot, we create a merge behind it. Then connect these two together. In fact, we can delete these two null, which have been automatically connected to merge. In this case, we have two hands on the board. Then we connect our merge to the front of these two transform. Okay, let's see. Now our hand is right in the center of our picture, right? Okay, and then we'll create a merge here. This is to turn our face and our hands into one sop. At this time, we can see our hands appear, right? After my hand appeared, the smoke became very much, right? Let's fine-tune our parameter. We can adjust it a little bit lower. It has a little bit of attraction with my hands. Turn down the fuel a little. Okay, the color is so ugly. Change one. Okay. Okay, now our hands are on our screen, right? Let's see. But we will find that the effect of our hands is not as obvious as that of our faces. Right? It seems to have very little flame. Why is that? We see that the model of our hands are very thin, and the whole model is very small. Right? In this way, it will not be able to generate as many flame as we want. So at this time, we come to the back to create a wireframe SOP. And then make it a little thicker. And we'll see in the wireframe SOP that when I take my hand out, can make our whole hand appear like this. Right? We can make it a little thicker. Let's see why it's gone after we add this. Let's see, there's error report here, right? When I bring my hand up, it always reports an error. We can see what the error is. He said that we must. Our input model must be in the form of mesh or polygon, right? That is to say, our current wireframe is not in the form of a mesh or polygon. So we need to create a convert behind it. Through this convert, SOP automatically converts your hands into a form of polygon. Let's try it again now. We see a very big smoke effect on our hands, right? So this is a little too big. We can adjust it a little lower. 0.15. Put your hand here and let's feel it. Then adjust its position. Adjust its scale to 0.5, a little smaller. Okay, in this case, we can see that we have successfully achieved an AR effect. Okay, we can even go back to NV Flow Emitter and add an HSV adjust to adjust the visual. For example, we adjust its saturation a little higher and its brightness a little higher. Alright, just adjust it according to your own preferences. We can also slightly adjust its color, right? You made it more colorful to make it more pleasing to us. Okay. I think this color looks very beautiful now. Okay. Let's do the interactive part next. If you have learned the course with me, in fact, you should be able to imagine that the interaction is very simple, right?